Well, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folan. We continue our conversation from yesterday. Well, it'll come under varying topics, but so that, for instance, today we're talking about the protests and national stability. As you know, there have been a number of developments. The police have had to get a bit more, shall we say, active. They've been issuing. This handshake is beginning to approach the elbow. And I suppose they're giving the impression that if we've been chill, it's because we all know that everybody has a right to do what they're doing. You have a right to protest, but we have a duty to maintain order. And so here we are, our guest this morning. I'm very happy that my brother has come back. It's been quite a while. We've not had Alhaji Hassan Abdulaziz Sani on our program, but he's back. And you couldn't have been back at a better time. So good morning to you, Alhaji.
Good morning, Mr. Yori. All times are better. It depends on the person involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let us hold that one as that. Now, you're not going to be alone because we also have Engineer Modupe Ajibola. He is joining us remotely. Hi, Engineer Modupe.
How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Founder of Voters Access to Representatives in Election. Now, he's a U.S.-based solution representative. And it's all about to keep voters and their representatives aligned. So it's all feeding back into the question we spoke about protests and national stability. Let me start from in studio here. Alhaji Hassan Abdulaziz Sani, he's an opinion molder. He is also a communications professional. And maybe that's part of where I'm going to take it from. What has been happening in terms of our communication amongst each other? And I'm relating to the violence that the protests have turned to in the North especially. What kind of communication? The police, the authorities have their own ideas. They have told us upfront that they have now discovered that diasporans are very, very largely guilty in this. In fact, they're so sure about it that they say they've actually been freezing accounts, and if any of them should show up on the shores of our land, they will be summarily arrested because they've gone beyond the area of speculation to know that there are people who are sponsoring. Even if you didn't know anything about intelligence and insecurity, we did see tailors' workshops where foreign flags were being manufactured, were being tailored. So what is it about the communication that came to all of Nigerians by the organizers that we are going to protest against this hardship from a certain time, the way it has gone in the North? Could you hazard a guess for us as to how come that communication was taken in the way in which it seems to have been taken for the North to have been almost set on fire?
Look, Ms. Yori, the federal government of Nigeria made it known to everybody that people have a right to protest when need be, as enshrined in the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Yeah, to peacefully protest.
Our fundamental human right.
Yes, the Constitution says it.
Right to life, right to civil liberty, right to freedom of expression and press.
Yes.
Right to freedom of
expression,
thought, conscience, and religion.
Yes.
Right to freedom of expression.
So that's what the federal government has said. Is the Constitution that says that.
And many more of it.
Yes, yes.
And federal government is very much conscious of it. And they made it known that they were not against the protest.
That's right.
You see, this Constitution, you see, the fundamental human rights in particular, you must qualify for all the rights. It's not just for a take. Right to life, if you don't kill. Right to expression, if you don't defame, if you don't engage in libel.
In other words, the idea that where your rights end is where mine begin.
Good. You see, the issue is this. Nobody is disposed to violent demonstration. But what is very clear here
See,
Nobody is disposed to eat. Even in the north.
We've seen it.
You see, the issue is this. Let me tell you.
Yes.
Let me remind you of that of NSAS in Lagos here.
Okay.
You can see the NSAS, how it happened in Lagos.
Okay.
The NSAS, it started as against police brutality. It extended to the government because of the people that infiltrated the crowd.
Okay, so are you saying there was infiltration in the north?
There was infiltration. Anywhere you see the crisis, there was infiltration. Look, Mr. Yori.
That's why I asked about the role of communication. Since there are emirs, there are mothers, there are teachers, there are elders.
Look, we are talking of
For the
emirs.
first time, we actually saw what we could only assume to be Muslims actually attacking a mosque. It's an abominable thought.
You can see. You can't imagine how that could have happened. The issue is this. In a crowd, you cannot determine how each and everyone would respond. It's psychological. You understand? And you can see a just protest. And miscreants will come in to do all sorts of rubbish.
Do you think that's what happened in the north?
Yes.
Because we saw a lot of children in there. There are a lot of children that were not even of voting age.
The issue is this, Mr. Yori. Anywhere you see protest, a violent protest, you see it's against the people. It's against the people themselves. In the sense that businessmen lost, government lost, passerby, innocent people lost. Look,
is there any reason? Sorry, sir. Is there? And I take what you've just explained. Is there any reason why we saw much more of that in the north rather than anywhere else in the country?
Mr. Yori, what you are seeing in the north, I had a lot of people making their own comment about Almajiris and this and that. You understand?
But not this morning, not on this program yet.
No. You say, no, this morning I listened to a lot of commentaries from people.
So what do you think was the actual situation?
The actual situation is this. Let me take you down memory lane. After the election, in which Ashiwaju wonderfully won convincingly against the two big ones, the Labour and the PDP.
These two other contenders.
No, let us not put them there. As I was saying, people knew. You understand? You see, people started making, you must have an opponent in a political contest.
Do you think any of that came
into... Don't worry.
Did any of these ideas...
I'm trying to say something.
I know the idea.
I'm trying to say something to you.
I don't want to keep our other guests, waiting too long.
Look, Mr.
Do you think, sir, that much of that factored into...
Let me say it all.
Okay.
Before you conclude.
No, I can't conclude.
After the election of 2023, I'm just taking you down memory lane. People went to defense headquarters in Abuja, inviting military to take over. We are all aware of that.
When they saw the way the results were coming in.
No. After the winning.
After winning.
Some group of people
after a candidate had won.
Protested, they even went to defense headquarters, inviting the military to take over. Because their own person is not the winner. You understand? That one happened. And when you look at Niger, they welcome the taking over of the military. Why? Is because most of the people that welcome the taking over from from Bazoum are the members of the opposition. Opposition have nothing to lose when a winner lost also. So you have mixture of crowd, people in PDP, people in Labour, and even people that are not happy with the happenings, with the economic situation we are all in now.
I'm going to come back for you to develop
because we are united by the economic situation now.
Okay. I'm going to come back because I know that you can develop this a bit more. But I want to go to Engineer Modupe Ajibola, who his organization VARE, V-A-R-E, is Voters Access to Representatives in Election. You've been watching everything that's been going on, and especially as it relates to this whole protest. There are different schools of thought, and because there are different segments of the country, and the call to protest was addressed differently by the different segments of the society. We've been discussing the North now, because that probably has surprised a lot of people until we get some explanation from Alhaji now as to what might be going on. Do you think that the representatives and the voters in this case, the people and their representatives, do you think they lost communication with each other and the thing spun out of control? What do you think is going on?
Yes, and yes to all the questions. For us, one of the things that inspires our judgment when we started building products in the United States to solve some of these problems is we realize information, communication, and direction is the key factors. There are three key factors when it comes to holding voters and their representatives accountable. We said information, communication, and direction. All those three are missing in the equation right now in the discourse going on in Nigeria that's causing this protest. The information is not flowing correctly. The communication that should be coming from the top down to abate the problem, to make the people feel at ease, is not being managed correctly, and direction is not being given to both the voters, the protesters, on where they want to even go unilaterally, which is from different sectors. Everybody's hungry, so it's too hard to think of what direction you want to go, which all lends itself to a great opportunity for Nigerian government, which is really what I hope to discuss today, because we can diagnose the problem for centuries. We all know what the problem is. Its opportunities are far in between for the youths, and they're hungry. And we have always been prescribing ways to solve this problem to the Nigerian government. The challenges are, well, like we said, the direction is not correct. The communication is not even
understood.
It's almost like Nigerians have been talked down to, as if to say they don't understand the hunger they feel. You can explain to me why prices are going up all day, but you cannot explain to me why I cannot get a job. Why I have to depend on, I'm a grown man and I have to depend on my family for support. You can't explain all those things away. You have to solve them. And to solve them, you cannot have people in government that year after year, they're debating who should have won what. It's inconsequential. Whether it was your people or their people, we are hungry. And we're hungry means we need solutions. We need solutions means all hands on deck. The issue with Nigerians in the diaspora, you mentioned at the beginning of the call that they said they're the ones sponsoring this, sponsoring that. $99 billion was spent by Nigerians in the diaspora within 5 years. That is more revenue going directly to the people. In fact, it suffices to say, or I would argue, that most of the revenue going into the working class is coming from the diaspora, which means they're a very unique and valuable group, and they need to be nurtured so that government can actually leverage this inflow of money to even build the economy again. So because we know government is not financially okay right now. We know that the money that is being spent is not spreading correctly, and we know that even when it's being spent, percentages of it are going back to government officials because, they will appropriate a contract and say 40% of it has to come back to them. That would never stop in Nigeria. We don't even want it to. We're not asking for that to stop. All we're asking for is this. When you are a government official and you are paid this amount of money, whether you're a house rep or senator or whatever the case is, we need to be able to measure at the end of your term what you did. And that measurement cannot come from you. It has to come from the people themselves to attest for what you've done, from their employment, from what the changes that have come in their community. We're not hearing from this. This is where I said the loop is broken. So if you take 40% out of the contract because you think you deserve it, well, spend it back on the people and let the people attest that you spent it, and we'll be okay. We don't care that you take money back from the system, but we're not okay that we pay you a significant amount of salary and you still manage to take high percentage out of the contracts that are meant to go service Nigerians. And Nigerians are now finally saying, look, none of it is reaching us. We're frustrated. And when we need to talk solutions, what we come to say is blame somebody. For the Northerners, the Southerners, it is a common problem. We're all tired. We're all tired of listening to our leaders not try to solve problems.
Okay.
And
I
when
hear
you
you.
see problem solvers like ourselves,
Yes.
we come, we diagnose, we build technologies that is servicing other parts of the world, and they wouldn't even, for them to even call you to say, hey, what can you do? We don't even want to be paid. Nigerians are at the point where we know the country has no money. We don't want to be, we're the one paying Nigerians. So we're like, let us help you build reputation that can service Nigerians globally. But you wouldn't even do that. Why? Because you're so fixated on the little money you are borrowing to spend on yourself. And that has to stop.
I take all that you say, Modukwe, and without prejudice to it, indeed, I take it, it is largely correct. But there is a difference between anarchy and protest, legitimate protest. You've seen the pictures. There's nobody that is saying that everything that you've been saying and that Alaji in studio has been saying here is incorrect. No. Nobody has, the president has been among the first to say that everybody is allowed to protest by the Constitution. But there's a difference between that and the anarchy. And as you heard Alaji just explain, there are sort of underlying causes that have nothing whatsoever to do with the common hunger that we all feel, the common tightness that we all feel. And by the way, you don't need me to tell you that this is a universal, it's global. I'm sure you are aware of what's happening in neighboring Canada where you're at, probably in the US as well, in the UK from yesterday. You get all these pockets of unexpected...
But you know the difference, though. You know the difference, sir. The difference is that the difference is that in Nigeria, no one is ever scapegoated. All we need is our leaders to say, look, I've called on 5 ministers or commissioners that are underperforming because we've looked at the metrics. Okay. And they have to go. No, but if you do that, the people see that you are doing something. You can't keep
so you're coming back to communication. That I think what you're doing here is that you're critiquing, perhaps even criticizing government's communication policy, that they have not communicated enough with the people.
No, you can communicate with us all day. Communication is there, but it's ill-informed. You're telling us the problem when we are asking for the solution. The solution is what you should be communicating to us, which is, hey, we've identified the key areas where the challenges are coming from. We've neutralized them, right? And we're working with so.
I hear you, sir. I hear you on that point that you've made. I hear you, sir. And let me switch back to Alaji here. On this question of solutions. We'll bring it back to you, of course, if you want to add to that. Solutions. This government is a little over a year in office. We all know that the nature of the problems besetting Nigeria are not those that can be fixed overnight or in a quarter, for example. There are those who are even saying that even 6 months. There are those who are saying that the foundation is being laid. Things are being done. They still have to trickle down. Alaji, whatever your political persuasion, and it's no business of mine, whatever it is, you have a right to it. The government has been doing a number of things that you are fully aware of to redress the situation that they met on the ground. But none of this is going to have the result required overnight. So that is the part of the communication that I first of all thought, although Modukwe set me straight, that no, that's not it. It's not about explaining. You let us see you do something. They have started, they say, they tell us, I'm no spokesman of theirs, they have started things, and these things take time to catch on and get a critical mass. Where is the problem again then, sir?
Mr. Yori, we are all Nigerians.
We are.
And my political leaning is APC. I have sympathy for APC. I voted for Tinubu, I campaigned for Tinubu. And I like him. And the northern Nigerian people voted for Tinubu to be a president of Nigeria.
That is you guess that, or no, you know
I'm
that?
not guessing. It's the reality on the ground.
Because...
Don't worry. You see, the issue is this. When Tinubu won the election, I made a statement in this studio.
Okay.
That look, you are no longer the Jagaba of Borgu. You are no longer the Ashiwaju of Lagos. You are now the Ashiwaju of Nigeria and Jagaba of Nigeria.
Hasn't he been conducting himself as such?
Don't worry. That was from the beginning, I said.
You said that at the very, very beginning.
And he is conducting himself in such manner.
Thank you.
You see, let me tell you one thing. It was the report card of Ashiwaju from Lagos that convinced the voters to vote him in as the president today.
Okay.
The report card, because he performed wonderfully well in Lagos State. And you must have something to put on the table for you to convince the electorate to vote for you. And that really worked for him. And he got voted into the office. But there's a difference here between being a Lagos State governor and being the president of Nigeria. In terms of schedules, you understand, in the federal level, you are saddled with foreign policies, which is not in the states. In the federal government, you are saddled with international military policies. In the federal government, you are saddled with defense. A lot of things were in the exclusive list of the federal government, not in the states. You see, when Ashiwaju became the president, we have confidence. Up to tomorrow, I still have confidence in this man because he's a good listener.
Okay.
You understand? And everybody, look, in northern Nigeria today, the Islamic preachers, people were even lambasting them. Emirs, people were lambasting them for telling them, look, don't go this way. We are seeing light at the end of the tunnel. Don't go violent. You have every reason to protest. But the issue is
their
this.
voices were drowned out.
It's not drowned out. It's not. You see, when you say it, when you have a crowd, you cannot fight a crowd. You can fight a person, but you cannot fight a crowd. Because crowd came with different agendas. And this crowd were classified by different background, different idiosyncrasies. So there's no, look,
they lost control.
Look, the issue is not a matter of losing control. The same thing happened here in Lagos. Are you going to tell me that the Oba of Lagos did not, gave a briefing against NSAS? They did it. Government did the same thing.
Yeah,
but the crowd selfishly did what they like. Look, remember, Mr. Yori, I lived in the middle of Lekki.
Okay.
And that was the melting point of NSAS. I was there when they started the whole Wahala. I was there when they started with the police. I was there when they started changing to Buhari must go, Tinubu must go, this must go, Jagawa must go. We don't like godfatherism in Lagos. People are coming with their different agendas.
Yeah.
And there's we saw what happened at the end of it. They vandalized Lagos State government property. Is Lagos State government in charge of police? No. Is Tinubu in charge of police? No. So the issue is this.
So you're saying you're explaining to me now how the crowd was lost.
It's the crowd, and people are losing. You see, businessmen are losing a lot.
And
let me tell you one thing.
I want to go on break, and I think that this section is going to be important. I want to speak with you. I want to speak with Modupe. But we have to come back to what the police and all these investigative bodies, security bodies, are telling us about instigation. People putting money behind fomenting a crisis. What is sponsorship all about? Police said they have stuff.
They should get them prosecuted.
They have information. There are people who are working against Nigeria from the outside. Even though we have been cautioned to be very, very careful about bringing political motives to this whole matter, you have commentators say it's all about hunger. It's all about the very tight something. But there are people, according to the police, who are directly sponsoring. I mean, the youth in Kaduna, they didn't sow those flags by themselves. They didn't sow those Russian flags by themselves.
Let me just.
I told you that we wanted to go on break, and I didn't want you to be interrupted. Okay. So we'll come back and look at all of that and what is the way forward, because I take very much on board what you've just explained about how you can actually lose control of a crowd without it being anybody's fault.
Yes.
But we saw people who are spending money on instability in the place. Or what else do you call the flags of foreign countries?
It's unfortunate.
So stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Modupe, we'll come straight to you when we come back from this break. Stay with us, please.
station and all the passengers. Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
Welcome back. As you could see, I was just engaging in some in-studio talk there, but now we are live, and we have in studio here Alhaji Hassan Abdul Aziz Sani. He's an opinion molder and he's a communications professional. And remotely joining us from the US is engineer Modupe Ajibola, founder of Voters Access to Representatives in Election. Let me come over to you in the US there. You heard the conversation that we were having in studio here, and I was trying to find out what is it that made the difference in the North, that the North has become the subject of the conversation, in the sense that whereas all of Nigeria signed on for this non-violent protest, a lot of effort was put into that expression, but it went the way it went in the North, and you saw so many people. And it was clear that there was sponsorship to violence, by which I mean so many children that were part of it. They were hoisting the foreign flags and all of that. How did we get to this pass? And now the security people have come in and have said there actually has been sponsorship to anarchy and what happened in the North. How is that? Is it the hunger that is making those people sponsor? Why are they not putting that money they're using to sponsor towards alleviating the hunger? I guess these are the questions that will no doubt be engaging the minds of people.
Yeah, so Mr. Yuri, I will say this. We said, I started by saying information, communication, and direction. In the absence of leadership, that vacuum lends itself to so many opportunities. Tinubu is doing a fantastic job, in my opinion, of trying to mitigate the crisis it came into in the government. The part that is missing is, we're talking about the correct communication and direction. These youths don't have direction, so they will face anywhere their stomach faces. You cannot tell anyone in that stage. I guarantee you, if you were in that same situation when hunger was killing you, and any bad actor came to you and said, "Hey, I have this money for you to do this." We see it in cases of election alone. So why won't we see it in the cases of protest? When people are hungry during election, they're paid to go vote for certain groups, and they take the money. So we cannot expect people that are hungry to be reasonable or rational in this event, number one. Number two, the so-called bad actors that are taking advantage of these individuals also understand the vacuum that is there in the communication and the direction that these youths have. That is what we need to solve. We cannot focus on, you would always find people that is willing to sponsor bad actors. Even some of them are in government sponsoring bad actors to act a certain way so that their party can now come in and say we're the ones to solve it. So for you to focus on that is not as vital as solving that vacuum that is there, that the youths need direction. Because even if you look at the lingua of the mandates that have been provided from these protesters, there's no consistency. It is just, we're hungry, we're tired of the inflation, we're tired of this. So somebody has to help them understand how we step out of this one step at a time, and who we're going to scapegoat, who is responsible for certain things that have not happened, that government has pushed forward and is not happening for you yet. This is why it's not happening. And by the way, I have to say this. Every time I see them giving money to a bunch of entrepreneurs or throwing money at the problem, I cringe, because I know that this is another bad move. Because if you're a hungry man, the first thing you would do with money that comes into your hand is not to go pursue your business, is to eat first. Are you with me? So when you eat with all that money, and some of them will probably take girlfriend out too in the middle of all that. By the time you've done all that, that money is gone. So you have not really helped the situation of this young man, other than put money in the hands of a hungry man. What you need to do is have a cohesive strategy around businesses that are already hiring high volume workers and see how you can scale those businesses to increase them, which is the infrastructural initiatives that Tinubu was talking about, but needs to be implemented in a different way. Today, it's being implemented by bringing foreign expatriates all over the place, taking the money and leaving the country. No, it has to be implemented by ensuring that Nigerians are hired in volumes on all these projects. What is the point of having a great infrastructure when I can't afford to drive on the road, or when I can't even afford to buy gas to drive on the infrastructure, or to get to the buildings that have been built?
Right.
So infrastructure, contracts and budgets needs to be all job creation, and whoever gets those contracts has to account for each and everybody they hired that was benefiting from that contract. And if they cannot account for that, they are the ones that needs to be scapegoated.
All right. Alhaji, let me come back to you. What is the role of education in all of this? And I don't necessarily mean classroom education, but look, we saw people climbing traffic light poles and deciding to attack their own traffic light that is serving nobody but them. We saw them visit their own public buildings, their own mosques. It's a bit confusing to a person who is not a specialist and in there to understand what the dynamics are. This is self-attack. You're rebelling against what? And you saw children. So you've explained some of it, so has Modukwe, but those people who are able to lead them against wiser counsel, the way you explained it to me earlier, which is that, look, it's not as if we're lacking in elders and all of those people who know what to do and what to say and how to talk to them, but they were overwhelmed by the naysayers. What do you think is going on there? Is it just as simple as hunger? Because everybody knows that hunger, from me to you to them.
Mr. Yori,
Yes, sir.
you see, I heard people saying North education is the problem. North is never a dark zone. People don't know. You understand?
That North is...
It's never a dark zone.
No, not a,
No,
not
don't
a
worry,
dark
don't
zone.
worry. Let me say it
Okay.
my own way. You see, people think that because of many admirers that people don't go to school in the North. People don't do this. People are not enlightened. People are enlightened.
And the Almajiri
People are,
is a different form of education.
Let me tell you one
It's
thing.
an alternative education
Look,
form.
Let me tell you one thing. In the North, people are much more politically conscious than any region in this country.
Okay.
Politically conscious.
Okay.
I'm just telling you the truth of it.
I accept what you
And
say.
you can see it even at the turnout of voters in Kano. They will register and they will come out and march to vote. Unlike in Lagos here, a lot of people will go and register. On the day of voting, you see them playing football, receiving their visitors, not going to vote. I was here. I voted here. And you know,
They're politically savvy. What you're saying is that they're politically savvy.
It's not savvy. It's not savvy.
It's not
you
savvy.
see, I'm politically conscious.
Yeah.
You see, let me tell you one thing. Ajibola has said it all. He said, look, it's not about engaging people abroad with no direct economic impact on the people here. He said a lot. It's laden with a lot of meaning, positivities, in the sense that you don't give out contract. And then our people are unemployed. Our people are feeling hungry. Look, something started.
So you're implying that all of that we're talking about was also, caused by this.
When you look at the people, look at the government itself.
Yes.
Let me tell you, we voted. I'm still with this government. I'm very much with this government. I have hope in this government.
Yes.
But let me tell you, there was something that happened that triggered all these things. You see, the first thing, this subsidy is gone. You understand? The second one, flotation of the naira. And look, I voted for Tinubu because Tinubu, I see him as a streetwise person.
You said the subsidy is gone. The subsidy is not Tinubu that took away the subsidy.
Don't worry.
No, wait a minute, sir.
No.
Wait a minite, sir. The subsidy was done and dusted before President Buhari left.
Let me tell you one thing.
President Buhari did that.
Let me tell you. All these problems.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
It's not a one-day problem. It's a takeover from the previous government.
Yes.
You understand? But let me tell you one thing.
So Buhari cut subsidy out.
As a leader.
Tinubu had to action it.
As a leader.
Yes.
As a leader. Tinubu can decide to appropriate money for subsidy.
But
because he's the leader.
we hear that we don't have such money.
Don't worry. Don't
We've
worry.
been speaking about
Don't worry about that. You see.
Okay, I have someone on your phone, so let me hear from him and come straight back. Good morning, Mr. Adesanya in Abuja.
Yes, good afternoon.
It's morning, actually. We got 20 more minutes to afternoon.
Okay, Yoris.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, I just want to say this this little thing. Yeah. Yeah, okay. But I think we should just be done with all these rhetorics. The man on your right hand side is saying the North are savvy, they are this, they are that. I will not lie to you. In fact, they just give them money. You understand? They give them money. They are not savvy at all. How do you see somebody going to a public building, removing the roof? Going to break a cupboard, removing the iron? I live in Abuja here, and I see all these things. So you should not just come there and tell us what is not. We know what not is all about. And sorry, let me now talk about this other man that lives in the U.S.
No, you're talking about wait a minute. Are you talking about our other guest, Engineer Modupe Ajibola?
Yes. He spoke very well, but to me, he's talking about Nigeria and U.S. We are two different things. We also saw what happened during Trump. So they are over 200 and something years. So if we are not comparing what is happening there and what is happening here, we are still in the learning process, and we should be allowed. Because I will not lie to you, I'm not an APC, I'm not a PDP man, but I can see what Tinubu is doing, and I know he's going to get there if we allow him to do what he's doing. But they are trying to push him to say something against Buhari, which I know he will never do. That is what they are trying to do, but he will never do that. Let's just allow him to just do what he has to do. I will not lie to you, everybody is hungry, but let's just be patient. Because all this, how many months?
Yeah.
How many months did they get there?
Yeah.
You are asking for them to be, the ministers to be removed. It's not so fast. Let's take it easy, and I'm sure very soon we are going to reap for what we are, with the Tinubu administration is sowing, by God's grace.
Okay, then. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Adesanya, for calling in. An interesting point that he made over there. I've been hearing from you. Let me quickly.
Mr. Yuri, can I?
Let me nip across to Dupe. What he said in there, that he knows that one thing Tinubu is not going to do is that he's not going to pass the buck. Things were done in the Buhari administration that he has inherited and has to run with. Go ahead, please. But it's not.
This is why when you remember when I started, this problem that Nigeria Tinubu inherited has, in fact, Tinubu is a cog in all of this matter. Is that significant in all of this? There's a systematic way Nigerians think and operate. That caller just validated it. He's thinking the issue is patience and time. Patience and time only matter to a man that is not hungry, number one. Secondarily, patience and time can only be afforded for the man that is informed, right? That understands what he's being patient for and how it's going to work on his behest. This is why we said the information, the communication has to be solid. The minister issue that I mentioned was that, look, if the people are that frustrated, I mean, somebody somewhere is not communicating correctly to the people what the next steps are in the process of their, of the benefits that are coming to them.
Yes.
Or somebody is not communicating what the results of the actions that have been done are.
Okay.
If neither of those things are happening, yes, Nigerians cannot be patient for indefinite periods of time. There's a quarterly review we have on everybody.
I hear you. So what you're saying is that the Nigerians also need something of a timeline, a road map.
Yes.
Alhaji,
we see you buying vehicle. We see people buying vehicle, buying luxury things, and you're telling us, "Oh, you just be patient on your turn." What is the turn? When is it coming?
Well, the optics get as it be. Let me just admit as much. The optics get as it be, as we say locally. Mr. Ola, did I get that right? Is it Ola in Abuja too? Hello.
From Kaduna.
Oh, from Kaduna. Good morning to you, sir. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please. Ola in Kaduna.
All right, sir.
Okay.
Yes. Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
All right, sir. I just want to add my voice to one or two things that have been said on your program this morning concerning our leader who is sitting by your right, talking in respect to how the North is
Abdulaziz
involved in these protests. I think it is not completely true. I am a youth leader in Kaduna, and I see the way, this protest is not like HENSAS, because this one is done by faithless people. You want to join, you want to go out to protest, but you don't know where exactly to go to. Now, people just come out, and then they come out with clubs and irons for protest. There is no...
Prepared to be violent. Yes. They actually are prepared to be violent.
The way they operate. And if you now go to the nitty-gritty and sit with people, what you will discover in the North is that this particular protest is politically motivated, and then it also has one kind of hegemonic proclivity that some people are selling. The first day in Kaduna, it went violent, and then the next day, they killed one or two people. In my very before, I was coming out from the government house when I saw all of the things that were happening. Now, on the second day, I found some boys who are saying, we are not going to go out today because yesterday they killed. Let it not be that bullets will now cut up with us. And I played with them that, see, you are talking sense now, but the moment you go to smoke what you are smoking, your mind would...
Well, I hear you. I think I understand. Let's leave it. We got your full meaning because we're trying to analyze the situation here. Alaji, thank you for your patience because you've had to accommodate spending time on our other guests and then these callers. Did you want to come back in any particular aspect on this whole matter? And more importantly, as Dupe has said, it's really not about the solutions. It's about the solution.
Look, we are not here to lament. We are all Nigerians. We want the progress of this country. We want the progress of this country.
And that will start with peace.
With peace. And that peace, let me tell you, what the North needs now, you see, the most peaceful region in Nigeria is Western region. Go to the east. Go to the north. Banditry is there. Insurgency is there. What Tinubu should do now, see, forget about all these people around Mr. President telling him to package 20 trailers load of rice to each state. No, that's not the issue. Make the economics work. When the economy works, people will fend for themselves. In the sense that, first of all, make sure, don't worry, let me tell you what I would like the president to do. I'm talking about solution now.
Economically?
Economically? Yes.
Okay.
What I would like the president to do.
That he hasn't done
Please, let the president take care of security. Let him go for the bandits. Let him go for the insurgents. Let people be free to go to their farms and then follow it up with fertilizers.
Okay,
subsidized fertilizer for the farmers.
I hear you.
To go back to their farms.
But we were together in the last administration, and for 8 years we said this to Buhari. We said this very thing you are saying to Buhari.
And today I'm saying the same thing to our president Tinubu. I voted for Buhari and I voted for Tinubu. You understand? But the issue now is this. If the problem is still there, why shouldn't I say the same to Tinubu? The most important thing, he should damn the consequences.
Okay.
Go for the security in the north, deal with the bandits, deal with the insurgents, let people go back to the farms, give them subsidized fertilizers. Make sure fertilizers get to the common man in the north. Let them go. There will be no problem.
You know how politics goes. I'm happy that you are saying now, when Buhari is not there anymore, that damn the consequences. Tinubu, go for it.
I enjoy Buhari also to do the same thing.
Okay.
We are in this studio. I said it.
Let me
was there.
Let me see if I can squeeze in. Hello, who's on the line now? Who?
Hello.
Who? Speak to me again.
Hello, this is Mr. Dixon on the line.
Dixon. Good morning, Dixon in Kaduna. Quickly, please.
Yeah. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Go ahead, Dixon.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Dixon.
Yeah, I sincerely appreciate the program. I think this is my first time of calling to the program.
Oh, we're delighted to have you.
In fact, I really appreciate the program.
Thank you.
But in fact, I want to agree with what the man calling from US said.
Okay.
What he was saying that
Dupe
that's
Ajibola.
an hungry man to get patient the next day.
Okay.
But some other time, that is very, very difficult. Like here in Kaduna, we can't go freely to do our business or whatever. Specifically, I'm a farmer. But I find it very difficult now to go to my farm. How do I endure the stress?
Okay.
So there are so many issues that I think the government.
But that doesn't mean. But that doesn't mean you endorse. That doesn't mean you endorse the violence.
But you promised us that you want to solve problem. So we want to see problem solved.
Okay.
So
I hear you.
thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Dixon. We want the problem solved.
So,
this
Mr.
is what
Yori,
Dupe Ajibola
Mr.
said.
Yes.
We want the problem solved.
Government is a continuum.
Mr. Yori.
Government is a continuum. You understand?
Yes.
They started with Buhari. Buhari handed over to our president now, right? It's a continuum. Let him down the consequences.
Was it a poisoned chalice?
No.
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 Because the things that you are recommending now, damn the consequences now, that you also recommended then.
I said it.
I'm saying it. I'm
I said
confirming.
it.
I'm affirming what you said.
I said it.
It but it was ignored then.
No, the issue is this.
Now you're saying that this guy should damn the consequences.
Deal with the bandits,
deal
deal
it.
with the insurgents, let people have access to their farmlands, and then support it with subsidized fertilizers. You understand? And make sure that fertilizer gets to the grassroots.
Okay.
Not politicized fertilizers.
Okay, Dupe, let me quickly get you to weigh in on this whole new advice.
Yes.
Damn the consequences. Do that which is right. Do that which is needful. Damn the consequences.
Yes.
Tinubu?
Yes.
Yes. So, it's funny that you guys are saying, because that's absolutely correct. Because when you hear callers calling in defending Tinubu and so on and so forth, we understand what's happening. Tinubu doesn't need any defense. He's fine. And he's a strong man. He can handle the criticism because he knows the job he took. And he's doing a good job at trying. That's not the issue.
Yeah, but this is part of the information, sir. Because when I think those people are responding to nothing has been done. And so people call in to say this has been done, that has been done. Give it time. It'll come to fruition.
But that's what I'm saying, that you cannot say what has been done without showing it. It has to be seen. That gentleman that just called said,
"Sir,
sir,
I don't know. I'm not going to argue with you. I shouldn't. But you plant a seed. Wait a minute. You plant a seed. You plant a seed. You plant a seed, and it's a tree crop. You planted the seed that didn't exist before. How are you going to show evidence that you have to say the fruit tree is on the way?
We're not even what you're saying, it goes without saying. Yes, nobody is holding him back from time. Government has to always be told what we're doing here is what government has to be told. They need it. So don't fight that. Don't never stop yourself from telling government where the pain points are, because that's how they can solve it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what you're doing to try to give credit will be seen. Issues will be heard, right? Credit has to be seen. Issues have to be heard. So where I'm going is this. 3 things. I hear everybody come and either talk agriculture or something else. And I know that that's mostly why, because they're always thinking of the grassroots. The problem the grassroots have is that a lot of their jobs are being taken by the intellectual class and the working class.
Okay.
Why is that happening? It's happening because a college graduate is becoming a taxi driver. A college graduate is becoming, they're taking these jobs that should have been going to the so-called grassroots from rural, from different areas, right? So what we need to do,
because of time, I get thank you very much, Dupe. I get your drift, and believe me when I say I get the drift that you are going there, but we don't have time for you to expand it. But I do get your drift. Alaji.
Have you gotten mine?
We're always together.
Yes, but you should say it before the world that you got mine also.
I get your drift as well. I get your drift as well. The important thing is that we're trying to get from you observers, you patriots. We've got to get from you patriots. What do you see? What is your viewpoint?
Mr. Yori, I voted for Tinubu. And up to tomorrow, I'm still with Tinubu. So my own responsibility is to speak the truth to
You know,
the
we got
authority.
to go, but the one thing you said that surprised me
is a
was
scarce
that you were
it is a scarce commodity.
suggesting that
You see,
the
it is
removal of fuel subsidy might be reinstated.
And flotation of the naira, you understand,
Might be
is
reversed.
a problem also. Because let me tell you one
Okay.
thing. In an economy,
Having established those 2 points, we don't have the time
in an
anymore.
import-dependent economy,
We've actually-
floating naira
Okay.
is something else.
Alaji, we're going to have to leave it there.
I like him.
Okay.
And God bless him.
Hassan Abdulaziz Sani, thank you very much. And Engineer Modupe Ajibola in the US, thank you very much, gentlemen. Quite an interesting perspective on what's going on and the way to solve it. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it here for now. Please join us tomorrow for a